Okay, we are live. Let me know how everything's working off my pure data. Give me a second as I get set up here. A little windy tonight. Can you guys hear me okay? Find out in a second here. God. Yeah, you know what? Forget this angle. Here, let's move it a little bit. Wind's blowing. Fire's blowing in my face. I feel a little better now. Let me just get set up here and then we'll get into the show. No, I don't want to download this. All right. Pretty quiet tonight. What's up, everybody? What's my neighbor doing down there? Pretty quiet tonight. Sorry guys, I'm just getting set up here. Let me go over here. This fire's being a pain in the ass tonight. It's blowing in my face. Don't want to breathe that crap in. Sorry, I'm running a little late tonight. Should be a little better. Alright. That's more like it. I wanted to try a different angle tonight, but I don't know how it's going to work because this fire keeps blowing at me. Alright. Alright, I got my cup of coffee, I got my iPad, and I'm ready to go. What the? No, go back to the YouTube app. We got a couple of people in here. Alright, now let's go ahead and get into the show. What's going on, guys? I'm Jake, the Lawn Kid. Welcome back to another episode of Lawnfires. So the fires are hot, the lawns are green, and the questions are engaging. Now, for those of you guys who are new to this show here, basically what it is it's a live show that I like to do typically every Friday night around 6 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time, or maybe in the winter we change it up. We typically do daylight. We typically do standard time. What's up?
Here, what's up? How you doing, young man?
I'm doing good.
You got your machine turned off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to play with you.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So you remember, got a guy praying every day for you.
All right. I will.
Take care.
You too. So how's the volume? Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, sorry about the volume. I don't want to move too close because don't want this to overheat. But I'll come a little closer if that's what I gotta do. It's no big deal. All right. So yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, this is a live show that I like to do every Friday night, typically around 6 p.m. And I like to go to 7 p.m. Some nights I'll probably stay on a little longer, go all the way to 8 or 9 p.m. But it really depends on the mood I'm in, as well as how many questions come in. Tonight, I gotta say it's looking pretty quiet. I'm actually pretty surprised. Okay, you guys can hear me? All right, awesome. So, yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, this is a live show that I do every Friday night, fireside chat style. And what I do is I take some of your most frequently asked lawn care questions and I answer them here live in real time. So, for any of you guys who are new here, all you got to do as far as how to answer questions is you just got to go to the live chat feature below the video. And then once you get there, it'll open up a chat that shows all of everybody's questions coming in, as well as a little bar where you could type in what you want to ask me, and then at some point tonight, I will get that answered, as I do like to go through the list and answer everybody in order. So if you have any questions, do that, and I'll be sure to get to them as soon as I can. So Lori and Seth Bizzo, Jake, Seth from Missouri. I have aerated and overseeded the last 3 years, and most of the yard looks great. The shady areas in the back and front still need help. Do you recommend aerating and seeding again? Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, so you're saying the shady areas in the back and the front need help. If you've already aerated and seeded them, you put down enough seed, you should be fine. But if it's to a point where it looks like you're getting germination, but it's not thick enough, by all means, go ahead and put some more seed down in those areas and keep watering. It's only going to help. Brandon Campo, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Larry Seth, just answered that. MSTG Steve, what's up, brother? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Happy Friday the 13th. Yeah, man. This is actually originally going to be the night where I was going to do my Lawnfire special. Like, this is probably going to be one of the biggest episodes I ever did, but unfortunately, that's going to have to be rescheduled to next week, as some people couldn't get off work to be on the show, and on top of that, where I wanted to have the fire, we just got rained out today, and everything got too wet. So we'll have to wait till next week for that, but I promise you it's going to be a good time, and it might even be a little bit better because it's actually going to be chilly outside. So, yeah, stay tuned for that coming up. Man, why is the chat so quiet tonight? It sucks. It's actually my fault. I should have let you guys know in advance. Lori and Seth Bizzo, what seeding brands do you recommend? Well, Lori and Seth, if I'm going to be honest with you, it really doesn't matter what brand or what source you get your grass seed from, but what matters is what the grass seed is made up of. Now, I'm actually going to touch on this in a video coming out on the channel tomorrow, which I know that's a little unusual. Typically I upload Mondays and Wednesdays, but this one's well overdue, so I'm going to try and get it out ASAP, so tomorrow. And what we're going to talk about in there are some things that you should look for in your seeding, things that you should look for when you're buying a bag of seed. Like, one of the things you're going to hear me mention in there is that it doesn't really matter what seed you get, as long as it's as close as possible to the date that the seed was tested. And basically what that means is the date that the seed was officially tested before it was shipped off to you or the store that you bought it from. You want to make sure that you're as close to that, at least a few months within that, and you should be fine. And then the second thing you want to make sure is that you are as close. No, the second thing you want to make sure is that you have no weed seed percentage in there, whatever. There's going to be a label on there that says weed seed percentage, noxious weeds. You want those two labels to read 0 to none, anything along those lines, to make sure that you have none of those weeds or contaminants in there that could end up growing in your lawn once things start to germinate. So make sure you got that, and you should be just fine. Kitty cocktail? No, it's coffee. What's going on, lawn guy? It's chilly in South Jersey tonight. Yeah, man. Nothing much, man. Just sitting here answering some questions. Francisco Lopez Francisco Lopez. What's up, Jake? What do you do for insects? I got moths, mosquitoes, grasshoppers, etc. invading the lawn. Well, Francisco, lucky for you, I have a great product for you. It's an insecticide that I've recommended for a long time, and that's going to be Bifin IT. You can actually get that from my friends over at domyown.com. Aiden, my moderator, if you could be so kind to leave that link in there. If you'd be so kind to leave that link in there to Bifin IT. I believe I have it in the list I sent you. If you could leave that in there, it'd be much appreciated, brother. Remember, Bifin IT, domyown.com. That's a great product. Mix that at the label rates. Read the label. Label's law. Skim through that. It'll give you all the label rates you need to take care of whatever problem you have. I was wondering about the dates. Mine says sell by 5/19. I bought after that. Am I still okay? If I'm going to be honest with you, you might be a couple of months after. You might be a couple of months after that date, but I think you said sell by, right? Now I'm getting confused because they have two dates on there. They typically say like test buy, sell by, but I think you'll be fine. Just get it down as soon as you can. Go back and watch my last video where I talk about how to properly time your grass seed. Get it down as soon as you get within that time period, and you should be fine. Oh, used by 5/19. I think you should be fine. MSTG Steve, if you get it down within that time, I mean, at this point you have it, so I'm not going to tell you to throw it away. Just use it. So get it down as soon as you can. You'll still get plenty of germination out of that. So put that down. Start watering it. Once we get within that time period to start seeding when soil temperatures hit 70, if you do that, you should be fine. What kind of mower do you like? What kind of mower do you like? Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really have a mower that I like in particular. I do like my Toro Recycler. I've had that for a long time. I guess I could say I like it because I've grown to become used to it. And on top of that, I really like my John Deere L120, which I actually have sitting in the garage right now. I'll probably show it to you at some point tonight. But yeah, I love that thing. Really nice unit, automatic, and it has a 48-inch deck, so it makes cutting my client yards a lot easier than the 42-inch decks that I used to have in the past with my Craftsman's. So really nice mower. And then on top of that, I really like my Snapper Highback. That's another mower. I actually inherited that from family. It's a really nice mower. Does a really good job at picking up any leaves and whatnot in the yard. I'm going to run into problems with germination. Wait a minute. What's up? Just did the overseed last week with KBG. Put down humic 12 the day prior, bag of Milo, and a bag of starter fertilizer. Tried to dethatch, but the machine broke. I still put the seed down though. Am I going to run into any problems with germination if I didn't dethatch? Well, KGJ, it really depends on the severity of your thatch. If you have like a really thin layer of it, I mean, you might have a little bit. You might have a little bit that holds back, but it might not be that much to be all that detrimental. So, as long as you, what am I going to say here? What's the question? As long as the thatch layer is not too thick, you should be fine. What's up, man? Thanks for the firewood.
Fucking dad's ass and gear so we can go get some more.
I agree with you.
Put that on the video.
It's already on. Well, listen. Are you still coming to the bonfire next week?
Huh?
The bonfire at my grandma's house. Whenever, listen, man. We're trying to coordinate it right. We were gonna do it this week, but it's too wet. After that rain.
Did it rain here today? This morning? When you went to school?
Yeah, it rained hard.
Yeah. It's a hard time when I left work.
This is, by the way, those of you guys who are watching this, my neighbor Mark just brought me some wood.
That's 2 years old dry.
Perfect. These pieces that you brought me back in March are still a little wet. I mean, they're burning somewhat.
It'll probably take another year to dry. I gotta take it to my mom and dad's. It's all, where this tree was, it's all low. So it's just full of water.
Yeah, so at my grandma's house, we got we got all these trees that I want to cut back because she's got like this 1.25 acres of property, and all these trees they used to be cut back and there used to be like trails in there and whatnot, but now over the years they've just grown out. So I want to cut all those back and then take all that stuff as firewood. Yeah, I'll have it back by the end of the month. I talked to him this morning. I'll be getting that.
About both.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's got 2 or 3 trees they want to cut down too.
Really?
This is not the whole lot.
Alright, hang on a second. I got a question coming in. Sam Maharis, what do you think of the seed from Leeds Nursery? Have you been out there? This is a good. Is this a good time to overseed? Sam, I've never heard of that stuff, so I can't give you my word on that. But as far as the best time to seed, if you go back and watch the most recent video I did on the channel, which Aiden, my moderator in here, if you could be so kind to leave that in the description or at the bottom of the chat, that would be awesome. The first video I did about lawn care basics and how to time your grass seeding, leave that below. Go watch that video, and it'll tell you everything you need to know about how to properly time your grass seeding so you have enough time for it to grow in and establish. So go check that out. So yeah, man, we got a ton of trees over there, and I have a big project I want to do over there too.
Another one?
What's up?
Another project?
Hell yeah, man.
How's Poseidon's going?
This is good. I gotta go over there. I've been over there in 6 weeks. We got another one coming in. Jake, I have centipede grass that produces seed heads. Do you recommend mulching it or just bag it? Well, Kathy and Had, I want you to know that if it's producing seed heads, that's a sign that your grass has plenty of nutrients, and all I recommend you do is just keep mowing it like normal and mulch all that stuff in, because the idea is that no matter what, whether your grass is putting up seed heads or not, you still want to get all that material back into the ground, as that's all your fertilizer products you've been putting down, but it's in a different form. So be sure to mulch all that back down, and while you're doing that, you'll also train the grass to tell itself, hey, let's not focus our energy on pushing seed heads, but more so on root growth. If you keep mowing it constantly at your regular height, if you do that, you should be fine. Just put up a video on my channel, Milorganite versus Scott's Winter Guard, 11,000 square feet each side by side. Who will win? Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, they're both gonna win in their own way, because the Scott's is more of a synthetic product. Meaning it's going to give the lawn a high amount of nutrients in a short amount of time, so you're going to see results immediately. Whereas the Milorganite, you're going to see results literally within 10 to 14 days, so it'll be a little bit later, but you're going to continue seeing results because it's an organic product. It's going to slowly release over time. Thus, the color is actually going to sustain for a longer period of time as well. So I guess the best way to look at it would be the Scott's product is going to win right away, whereas the Milorganite, while it's going to come on a little slower, it's going to win in the long run. So it's kind of a long versus short game thing. So how you doing?
You sound professional.
Mm-hmm. Well, I take pride in what I teach.
It's good.
I preach it.
It's good. Background up here, right?
Yeah, it's clumping fescue. Oh yeah, you know, while you're here, so you know I have this irrigation system, right, that I put in my yard. The other day my dad comes out and he tells me, why does this area of the lawn look so good and the other stuff looks like shit? And I tell him, because he's like, why don't you at least move the system around? And I'm like, I would, which I should have done in the beginning, but I can't because I have to water this 3 times a day because of the seed I put down. Which, by the way, I'm going to be cutting it tomorrow. It needs it.
It's good. It's healthy.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
The guy over there has got grubs.
Where?
When you come in off the line, he's got all the brown spots.
Yeah.
He's got grub infestation. You ought to hop on that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I already got a lady down here who wants aerations, and I got the liquid stuff, so no overhead.
We were talking.
Yeah, I'm talking. By the way, for those of you guys who are just tuning in, I'm talking to my neighbor here. He's not very big on the social media stuff, so he decides to remain anonymous, so he just stays off camera. It's kind of like Steinbrenner. Have you seen the show Seinfeld?
I watch sometimes.
Well, it's basically these four friends in New York, and then one of them works for the New York Yankees. So they have Steinbrenner in there. Steinbrenner's like the character that you hear a lot, but you never see his face. That's what you're like right now. They hear you, but they don't see you.
That's the way I like it.
Bro, bring that tractor out here and park it behind you for a good background. You know what, Aiden? That's a good idea. In fact, I'll do that in a few minutes. Yeah, I should do that. Park it all right here. It'll be even better when I get the bourbon back.
Park some of your equipment there so people see what you got.
That's what I'm going to do. Conversation starters.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's Inferno. He has. He just hasn't watched it regularly. Put down starter fertilizer Zim. Yeah, you should do that. Yeah, by the way, real quick, one thing I want to talk about, because I'm actually going to talk about this in my video coming out tomorrow. A lot of you guys are asking questions along the lines of, what fertilizer do I need for seeding, or what does the perfect fall lawn fertilizer look like? Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter what you get as long as you have the three main elements, the N, the P, the K. So I'll touch more on this tomorrow, but just to keep it short and sweet, all I'm going to tell you right now is remember this and you should be fine. NPK, you'll be okay. Remember that rhyme and you'll be fine. And if you do find anything that doesn't contain one of the three elements, then that's where I recommend you to get in there and put your own outside supplement in. Now we'll be touching more on that tomorrow, because I do actually have a couple of products I want to recommend to you guys that don't have potassium, which is the third one, and that one's going to be very important. And yeah, I have some great alternatives for you guys who don't have potassium in your fertilizer. Great supplements for you to help, build the plant's structure so that it can regulate things. We'll hear more about that tomorrow. I don't want to give away too much. Let's see. Yeah, it's awfully slow today. What do you suggest for fungi and mold in the water areas of the lawn? What do I suggest? I mean, you could spray it with we actually do have a professional product from domyown.com called Propiconazole 14%. If you put, I believe it's 13.8% or 14%, anywhere along those lines. You get that product, mix it up, and then spray it in the areas where you happen to have the fungus. And if you do that, it should go away within a week or whatever. And then whatever doesn't go away, you just touch it up again in another couple of weeks. Yeah, 14.3%. That's what it is, 14.3%. Aiden, if you could be so kind, could you link that in here for our friend Lori? Oh yeah, Aiden, I'm gonna do it. In fact, you know what? While the chat's quiet, I'll just pull everything out here. Why not? Now we got a backdrop. Let's see what else we got here. Low cells barrier fungus control, has less propo in it but works well. Yeah, RSS. In fact, you know what? If you think about it, you're really getting the same percentage either way you go. Because with the professional products, they're typically going to be in a higher concentration, but because of that, they recommend applying at lower rates. Whereas the store-bought stuff, they have like lower concentrations, and because of that, you actually have to apply it at a higher rate. So, in fact, I actually started to realize that because the other day when I was at Home Depot picking up some of that homeowner propiconazole that all of you guys like, I realized that because the percentage of propiconazole is as low as I think 2%. You guys can correct me on that if I'm wrong. It actually recommends applying in ounces, like anywhere from around 32 ounces to cover 5,000 square feet, whereas the professional stuff contains a higher concentration. I believe the highest they recommend going is 2 ounces per thousand, and because of that, you can actually cover up to 16 to 32,000 square feet. So in the end, they really cover the same amount of area, but because of the fact that you can play around with the rates a little bit, that also gives you a little more flexibility. So that's why I like the professional products, whereas the homeowner products, you do get some flexibility, but albeit not that much, as it is a DIY product, and you do have to put it down at higher rates to actually get the full effect. Whereas the professional products, you don't have to do that. Let's see what we got here. Chat's a little quiet. Oh yeah, by the way, for those of you guys who are wondering, we've got a nice little backdrop tonight. This is the setup that I cut all my customer lawns with. For those of you guys who don't know, I actually have my own local lawn care business here in the neighborhood. I maintain about 10 to 12 properties a week, so I'm cutting 2 properties every day, Monday, Friday, and then Saturdays when I'm working on the videos. But anyway, this is a great beginner setup right here. Now, if you start with something much smaller than this, like maybe you want to start with a push mower, I've done a video on that a couple of years ago. And then on top of that, once you get a little bigger, you can get something like this. You can get a John Deere, or really any tractor of your choosing. And on top of that, you can also get a wagon like this. I actually got this from, where did I get this from? Oh yeah, I got this from Tractor Supply about 3 years ago. I believe it's 14 feet by 4 feet? I don't think that's not right. It's got to be like 4 by 3 feet or something like that. And you can see it holds this guy pretty well. Works like a charm. It's a little quiet. Yeah, my neighbor just left now. It's 91 degrees here and you have a fire. John Wills, it's not that warm. It's actually kind of chilly tonight. We got a little breeze coming through. In fact, if I had to say, it's probably in the 70s over here right now. By the way, that guy from Pine Ridge, dude, I had no idea. I don't know if he's in here or not, but I had no idea how close you were. I'm telling you, dude, come by. Hey Jake, where does someone attending GIE get one of the peer things that you put your credentials in? RVA, I'm not really sure. I know I've been to GIE plenty of times. I should probably know this, but just go to GIE.com. They'll walk you through how to do it. Just get your tickets, and then once you get in there, they'll give you your lanyard and all that stuff. So if you do that, you should be fine. What happened to the old Craftsman lawn tractor? Mellum? I actually had 2 Craftsman tractors in the past 2 years. Got rid of both of them. One of them, the older one I had, the Craftsman LT 1000. It was just getting to a point where I didn't want to put more money into it because it was breaking down a lot. So I went ahead and impounded that thing. And then on top of that, the other one I had, the LT 2000, which I got from my neighbor over here. I actually sold that one back in the spring. I had the entire thing. I took it into my guy here in Illinois. He fixed it up. He did a complete ground up restore on it, and the thing was as good as new. And I figured that I really didn't need 2 tractors, and if I was going to get rid of one of them, I didn't want to get rid of the bigger one because of the fact that it goes faster and has a wider deck. So I sold that one for a pretty good sum of money. I'd say I got about 800 out of it at least, at most. So I'm pretty impressed with that. Jake, did you post the video on the overseeding yet? Andy's lawn care, I haven't, buddy, and I'm so sorry about that. I want to be honest with you guys. Um, I promised this Wednesday I'd get a video out, but I didn't, and I didn't get a chance to finish shooting the video. Actually, I've been so busy with school, and on top of that, I've gotten little to no sleep throughout the week, and because of that, just finding time to actually shoot the video and get it done was hard. But I did manage to get it. I did manage to get all the filming done on Wednesday, and like I said, I got busy with school, didn't get a chance to edit it. But I'm gonna try and get it out tomorrow, as I do have a couple of announcements in the very end of that video. We're gonna be doing something a little special here, so make sure you stay tuned for that. What do you recommend? What do you recommend? Green popping next or more organized? For overseed, I have both. Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, you could really use one or the other, or you could use them both in tandem. It's really not going to hurt anything. If you do decide to go the next route, all you have to do is put down the green pop at 12 ounces per thousand in tandem with RGS at 3 ounces per thousand, and then 3 weeks later, you follow up with an application of the Green Start, the 901, at the high rate, which I believe is. What is the high rate? We'll be going over that in future videos, so stay tuned for that. Plus, we also got the first episode of LCN Lawn Revival Fall Lawn Care coming out this Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. That'll be awesome. And then on top of that, we also got the next step coming out. And then after that, we got my uncle's lawn that we're going to be revamping. What are the steaks tonight, Anthony? Unfortunately, I don't have any. I wish I did, though. If I did, I'd have a nice, juicy T-bone, cooked rare to make it extra juicy. Oh, starting to get cooler in upstate New York. Yeah, Josh Smith, man. Take advantage of that. Get that overseeding done. Josh Smith used aerate last week. Yeah, man. Put that down, water it in. Gets great results. What's up with the project lawn with you and LCN? DJ, I'm going to have to get over there within the next week or so. I've been planning to, but just been really busy. Got a lot of videos to get on the channel this next week. I actually got one coming out tomorrow. It's going to be part 2 of Fall Lawn Care Basics. And then on top of that, we have another video coming out Monday and Wednesday. First video on Monday is going to be LCN Lawn Revival, and then the second one on Wednesday is going to be the Next Step Liquid Lawn Care Program. It's pretty much going to be documenting the overseeding process of both lawns. Now, one thing I actually want to say real quick is that, what was I going to say here? Man, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, you'll hear more about that coming up. Oh yeah, my posting schedule. I know my posting schedule has been very irregular this year, and I want to apologize for that. I've actually been trying to make an effort to put out more content in 1 week. As you guys noticed, last week I pretty much nailed it, right? I nailed it only that 1 week, and then I kind of fell apart. I guess I got a little complacent about it, and that's my fault. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get out 2 videos a week, Monday and Wednesday, and on top of that, I'm trying to do Lawnfires on Friday. So 3 pieces of content a week. I know it seems like a bit much, but I'm sure that with time and practicing and rehearsal, just trying to get better at it, I'm sure eventually I can get to a point where it'll become like butter to me, and then who knows, maybe we can even get more content out in a matter of a week. But for now, I want to see if I can do 3. If not, we will at least do 2 videos a week, like Monday and Friday. So we'll have the one video that comes out on Monday, and then we'll have the Lawnfires that continues to come out on the Friday nights. Silverback's home. Starting to get cooler. GCI turf type to Alfesky went down last Sunday. We have baby grass today. RGS plus humic hit the dirt as well. Yeah, man. I'm actually starting to see the same thing on both projects. The first one's going to be the LCN lawn over here, which I did seed. As thick as it is, I can see all the new stuff popping up already. And then on top of that, I've also got my uncle's lawn, which was pretty much fairly thin, and seeded the back lawn, which was like the concrete pad of the entire thing. Seeded that with peach fescue mix, and on top of that, we also put together a little irrigation system at my uncle's house. So that seed's getting watered and starting to see results over there too. Really excited about it. Hi Jake, I aerate and reseeded my lawn a week ago. Yeah, man. Do I water every day? Yes, Eduardo Cruz. In fact, you're going to hear me talking about that in the next few videos coming up. The key with watering your grass seed is you want to keep it moist. And the way you do that is by watering at least 3 times a day. And one of the things you're going to hear me say and go a little more in depth to on my videos is the idea of 6-12-3. Basically, first watering 6 a.m., second watering at noon, and then the third watering is going to be at 3 p.m. Now, this is actually, that's not the only thing. In fact, you're actually going to be watering a little different than I usually recommend, as we're actually going to be watering 3 times a day, and we're actually going to water the lawn 20 minutes each time that we do throughout the day. So that's going to equate to about 3 times of water. That's going to equate to about an hour's worth of water per day, and that'll be enough to keep the seed wet throughout the day as well. So remember the rule: at least 3 times a day, 6-12-3. You should be fine. Hey Jake, new subscriber bro, found you through LCN. Keep up the good work and keep the videos coming. Roger, I will. Thank you so much for the support, brother. Welcome to the channel, by the way. Andy's Lawn Care and Outdoor Adventure. Jake, can you make a video showing how your lawn has progressed over the years? Maybe some pictures dating back several years until now. That would be cool to see how your lawn has improved over time. Andy's Lawn Care? Never thought of that, but that might be something I'll plan on doing in the future sometime. Stay tuned. Groceries, that's right. Everyone say hi to Pops. Someone said everyone say hi to Pops.
Oh, it smells like fire.
Like that?
Oh, I'm getting close.
What are you talking about?
Car.
Alright, chat's a little quiet.
How can we have the lawnmower? Is this the backdrop for you?
Yeah, backdrop and a conversation starter.
No.
Let's get that open, get some airflow in there, as I always say. Airflow is key. Alright. Put another log on that fire. You know what? I got a few over here. We'll let that. We're burning it slowly. We're gonna go till this iPad dies. So around 7 o'clock, so we'll be getting off here maybe. Help the old man. Oh, come on. I help him all the time. Can't you see how busy I am? Kidding. Where are the s'mores, John? That's a good idea. I wish I had some. I think my neighbor DG has some. I'll have to go ask her. Maybe. You know what? It would be nice if we could get Alan and everybody else on here, but they're all at the meetup tonight in Utah. DG, BG, DG. It's DG, Aiden, drunk grandma. That's what we call her, drunk grandma. For reasons that I cannot say out loud on the chat. Jake, what's up, brah? Scott, nothing much, brah. How you doing? What are your plans after high school? Lawn care biz or college? DJ, great question. I'm actually going to do a little bit of both. So, including the YouTube channel. So once I graduate high school, I do plan on applying for a couple of classes at Purdue on turf management and business. And then along with that, I also want to grow my own local business here in the neighborhood. I currently have 12 clients right now. I'm going to be getting my truck back in a couple of weeks, so we'll be able to start pushing some harder services. And on top of that, I'm also going to be making a ton. I'm also going to be making a ton of YouTube videos. That's my biggest thing here. Is I want eventually the goal is to make this a full-time career, but I'm not hoping that'll be any. I'm not expecting that to be anytime soon. I got to be patient with that. But anyway, all I'm going to do is I'm going to hustle and grind for my young years, and then once we get a little older, settle down maybe. But yeah, that's my plan. Where are you going, Jim?
I'm getting the shit out of the car, man.
At what point can I start to see enough results to determine if I need to apply any more seed? I overseeded on the first, but it's still pretty thin in bare spots. Turf type tall fescue, KVG. VOD, this is a great question. I would give it about maybe 2 more weeks because that's typically when everything's going to be about mature, especially if you're seeding with fescue. Let that tell you whether or not you need things to fill in. Plus, if I'm going to be honest with you, if you do have a little bit of KVG in there, KVG does have a reputation to germinate a little bit later than fescue and rye. So if it's looking a little thin right now, I'd be a little patient with it. And then eventually the bluegrass might come in around day 20 or so. Which is why we recommend watering at least which is why we recommend this daily watering and low frequency on mowing for at least 6 weeks. You'll hear me talk a lot more about this. What do you think about Ryan's new lawn care box? Al, can't speak on it, don't know much about it. Jake, do you still have the old Tor recycler? Yeah, man, right here. Let me bring it to you. Might as well, right? Yep, still have the recycler, man. It's funny. I've had this recycler since I was in 3rd grade, and it still runs like a champ. So no mowing for 6 weeks after aerate and overseed. Eduardo Cruz, I actually touched on this in my mow down video that I did about a week and a half ago, where I showed you guys how I was going to take the height of cut down on my lawn. And one of the things I talked about in there is that you at least don't want to mow the lawn when the grass seed is just starting to come up, because that can actually be very counterintuitive, especially when the grass seed's not that mature. It really can't take all that traffic on top of it. So what you want to do is you actually want to wait at least 2 to 3 weeks, and then once you get around that point where the seed is starting to look a little more mature, it's standing tall, then that's a great time to get out there and do a cut. And then maybe at that point, if you want, you could start cutting it maybe once every week to 2 weeks, just to keep things even, keep the existing grass at bay, so it doesn't get overgrown and start blocking sunlight to that new seed. Because again, the idea here really, and you're going to hear me talk about this in my video, because a lot of you guys are going to say stuff like, Jake, you have a thick lawn, why are you overseeding anyway? Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, the reason I'm doing it is just because I want it to be thicker. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be complacent. I don't want to be content with it. I want to make it better, right? I just want to see what's going to happen. You're going to hear me talk about this in the video too, right? There's really no reason for me to overseed my lawn, but I did it because, number one, I just wanted to. There's really no horticultural reason why, besides I just wanted to, and I want to see if I can get it thicker. That's the idea here. because I do have some areas along here that dry out pretty bad, and I'm thinking that maybe if I could get these areas a little bit thicker, they might be a little more resilient to that. As I am watering, for longer periods of time, but less frequently throughout the week in the summertime to help push deeper roots. I hope you guys get the idea. I've got yellow caution tape across parts of my overseeded yard. Yeah, John Wills, that's a great idea. I'm not too concerned about foot traffic really on my lawn because the seed in there, I'm expecting it to. How you doing? I'm expecting it to somewhat fill in the lawn, but not too much because I already have a thick stand of turf. But if you're seeding a lawn that's somewhat bare or overall thin, then at that point I would say keep foot traffic to a minimum, or even keep it off at all costs, right? Because you at least want to give that seed time to germinate and establish and harden off. Now, as far as how long you have to keep the traffic off, that depends on how long. That actually depends on, what type of grass seed you're seeding with and the germination period, right? Like for instance, if you're seeding with bluegrass, that's going to take about 3 weeks to see germination, whereas fescue and rye, those will germinate in about 5 to 6 days. Eduardo, I don't wait. I start mowing the following week and have good results. RSS, you know what? I'll have to try that, but I don't have to. In fact, I wanted to grow it out a little bit and just see what would happen because it's actually been a while since I've ever let this lawn grow this tall, except for when I went on vacation in August. Tours run forever. I've got yellow caution tape across that part. Jake, how do you like the lawn striper? Does it ever get in the way? Scott's below? No. In fact, I love the way it drives. In fact, let me show it to you. I have it on the mower right now. So, this is the Checkmate lawn striper, the 21-inch Checkmate from Big League Lawns, and this is their 21-inch striper, and it attaches to the Toro Recycler. And what I like about it is that all of these, tracks that are on the rod here that add the weight, they all spin independently, and because of that, it gives you more flexibility to turn and back up, and it's not in your way so much. Now, I will say one thing: when you are mowing with this, you do have to be a little extra careful, because if your grass isn't that strong, and you're turning like this, which is, making that slide on the ground, you can possibly risk ripping up your grass. So that's not something you want to do. Oop. Tough Fat Tall Fescue getting watered 3 times daily. Yes, man. 6-12-3. Remember that. 6-12-3. Jake, how do you like the... Oh, yeah, I just mentioned that. Overseeding is great for introducing those new cultivars as well. Yes, man. Especially because, like I said, I have a thick lawn, but this lawn hasn't had, like, a proper overseeding in, like, the past 14 years that we've been at this house. So it's a good idea to kind of update it a little bit. Plus, get a little more variety in there, because the seed mix that I actually seeded with has a little bit of rye and fescue in there in conjunction with mostly bluegrass. So you'll hear more about that in the video coming up. Natural grass, no artificial. Yeah, man, I love that. Jake, thanks for all you do. Won a nationwide contest with Pennington Grass Seed, all-day private tour, and game at the Yankees. Got to go to the field 1 week. Yeah, man, they use ryegrass. I love it. Yeah, ryegrass is nice. It's a beautiful grass. Germinates fast and it looks good. But based on what I've been hearing from my buddy Ryan North, doesn't do too good in the heat. By the way, in case you guys are wondering, Cat's gonna get out.
I don't care.
Well, you're going to get him then.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Mm-hmm. also, like I said, it's still hot in Texas. What do you recommend for a rock hard clay soil? I have not purchased aerate yet. Anything else on top of that? Howard Burns, what I would encourage you to do, especially since your soil is hard in the first place, is give it some water. Because if there's one thing that's going to make that hard clay soil soft over time, it's going to be a lot of water. So I definitely recommend you water your lawn like deep for the next couple of days. Like maybe run your sprinklers an hour for the next 4 days or so, and then once you do that, then you can get on more of a regular watering schedule, which would be like 3 times a week, ½ inch each time. I got videos on that, and I don't know if Aiden's still in here or not, but Aiden, if you could link to a video I did on how to water the lawn, that would be great. And on top of that, I've also got my JTLK style irrigation system that I created. Now, if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't own or create any of the materials for the system, but it's my idea, as in no one has used these materials to put together into a system. So I think this will be a little unique for you guys. So I highly recommend you check it out. So yeah, Aiden, if you could link below to my video where I talked about my DIY irrigation system, that'd be very helpful. But yeah, all I would do is I would just water the lawn like really deep for a couple of days, get that soil wet, make it softer so that things can start penetrating. Because honestly, the fact that soil is too hard, I'm going to be honest with you guys right now, based on what I'm learning and what I'm hearing from all my friends in the Carolinas that have like Carolina red or Oklahoma red soil. You guys want to complain about how you can't grow anything in there. I want you guys to realize that's the biggest piece of bull I've ever heard, because I have clay soil up here. Clay soil is a pain in the ass when it gets super dry in the summer. But with good irrigation, you can change that, and an application of aerate, which will help penetrate into that ground. So as long as you're doing your part, which is irrigating the area, if you have control of it, you should be fine. Because real quick, let me show you something. So I don't know how well you're going to be able to pick this up here, but this right here, this is my parkway. This is my side yard here. You guys know I talk about this in the videos all the time. Now this is actually a different angle of it. You guys are typically used to me standing right here with the camera and showing you guys from this view. But based on what you guys have been seeing, this area struggles a lot in the summertime when we're not getting any rain, because it's not irrigated, and because of that, it just all that heat takes a toll on it. So this is what the lawn typically looks like when you don't irrigate it. But with a couple of weeks of proper irrigation, it could start to look like this. Look at this right here. Beautiful. Same grass type, everything. Same soil base, all of that. But notice how much greener it is and how much more vigorous it's growing. And that's only because of the fact that I irrigate it properly, right? Like RSS said in there, water is key. Or as we like to say, water is king. Remember, you want to have a nice lawn, 2 things. Airflow is key, water is king. And you can see, the results speak for themselves. In fact, just to show you guys how my system is covering the lawn effectively after so much time, this is my lawn being irrigated with my sprinkler system, right? Gets perfect overlap and everything. It looks beautiful. This side over here, on the other hand, this side is dry. This side is dry, doesn't have the irrigation system set up, but that's a future project. All right, let's get back to the setup here. Just wanted to show you guys that real quick. So yeah, I don't care what type of soil you have, all right? I don't want to hear your soil drama anymore, people. But I'm just playing around here, but please, just listen to me, all right? I don't care what type of soil you have. I don't want to hear your excuses unless you're out there doing your part, watering the grass, right? If you're not watering, like my friend RSS said in here, bye-bye grass. That's what you got to do, man. You got to penetrate that soil. And the only way you're going to do that is by watering and getting down a product like Next Aerate, which will dive down in there and increase air, water, nutrient penetration, thus making things more effective. So if you haven't done your part and watered, then I don't want to hear it. So enough soil drama and get to work. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's just me trying to be funny here. But anyway, just to be, in all seriousness though, when you do have, when you're complaining about how compacted your soil is, that means that you're probably not watering it correctly. So I don't want to hear it. How deep do I penetrate? Well, you see, it depends. It depends on the time of the year. Like in the summer, when I use the aerate product, I like to penetrate about a foot deep because that's where I like my roots to go. I like my roots to go as deep as possible. I like my roots to penetrate in the cracks and crevices. So the deeper, the better. Just remember that. Do your parents give you shit about the water bill? Alcoholic? No. In fact, my dad more so gives me shit about the fact that I water this side, but I don't water this side. He's like, why do you only water one side? And I'm like, well, because we only have one spigot, as the one in the back is currently broken, and in order to do that, I'm gonna have to buy another system and put some sprinklers over here. So that'll be a project for another time. But I feel like if I'm gonna get to that point where I'm using this irrigation system to water the whole lawn, I might as well just get an irrigation system and be done with it. So that's why I don't water the rest of my lawn. What's up with your mailbox? I don't know. Old board, somebody probably ran into it, you never know. Do you recommend wetting the seed for 24 hours before? No, man, just put it down and water it. Keep it simple. Jake, moles have been destroying my green lawn. Moles have been destroying my green lawn from all my neighbors. They're in front and in back. I've tried everything to kill them. What are your thoughts? Terry Davis? This is a great one. So when it comes to moles, any physical trap you can use would probably help a lot. But at that point, just focus on getting the grass thick. Because here's what I want you to think about. Moles are going to be attracted to a lawn that's thin and weak. So anything you could do to get the lawn looking thicker and a little more impenetrable, then you're less likely to get them. So put some traps out. That'll definitely help. But if you can work around them, definitely do that. What's that? What's up? Oh.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Not a bad setup, right? That's more like it.
Got another one right there.
TP it? Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
There you go.
Now it'll bloom.
Now I'm farming.
Yeah. My dad kept telling me it wouldn't be a good night for a fire. Couldn't disagree more.
Oh, no.
Let's see what we got here. I want my lawn black. And then just put down all that iron. You'll get there.
Spray paint.
Yeah, spray paint. Everybody wants to make a joke because what iron does, iron makes the lawn darker green. They want to put down like 5 times the amount. Well, they're just joking. They're not going to do it. I got a lot of experienced people in here who just like to talk shit.
Just like human bodies, you can't have too much iron.
Yeah. Oh yeah, real quick. I want to talk to you guys about something. So, I often get a lot of people asking me, like, Jake, do you recommend mechanical aeration anymore? I'm going to be honest with you, I really don't. It is beneficial in many ways, because it does open the ground up and it does allow nutrients to penetrate, but it's only enough to get you so far. And what I mean by that is the fact that I want you to think about the fact that with the mechanical machine, you don't really have anything to help dive deeper besides the tines that go about 3 or 4 inches. And when you do that, you're really only opening up about 20% of the soil surface area. Whereas if you put down a product like the liquid aerate 2 weeks in advance to your seeding, what you're doing is you're actually putting down a nice liquid blanket that's going to penetrate 100% of that soil surface. And then in conjunction with that, instead of going down only 3 to 4 inches because of the time, you're actually going to have more flexibility as that liquid's going to dive down deep. It's going to open up that soil and help all of those air, water, and nutrients get down into the soil to help push deeper root growth in the long run. So I'm telling you, if you want deeper roots, liquid aeration is the way to go. Believe it or not, that's how it is. And it makes sense because we're talking about a liquid blanket that goes down deep as opposed to set tines that only go about 3 or 4 inches and they only disturb about 20%. Now that's roaring. Ooh. That was close. You think this is big? Wait till what we're doing at my grandma's house. We got like a large pile. Thank you, sir. Howard Barnes. So here's what I recommend for you as far as the watering restrictions. So if you do want to put down the liquid aerate product, you guys know we often talk about watering in like 10 to 15 minutes after the application to get the product down to the soil level. But what I recommend you do is if you can't water that much, just use a hose end sprayer when you put it down, because the hose end sprayer will actually count as a quick water to get everything, just evenly distributed across the soil so that it can start doing its job. So if you're looking for a way to supplement that, if you can get away with it, do a hose end sprayer. But if you have a bigger property, just water 5 to 10 minutes, you'll be fine. White Night Dad shoes. Oh, yeah. You know what? He's actually got a story behind those shoes. I'll have to get him on here one day and have him tell that, because he's had those shoes for like 20 years. Josh Smith, I did not miss your request. I actually saw it, but sorry I didn't answer it. But I think that would be a great idea. We'll have to do that. That would be awesome. I mean, lawn's looking pretty good right now. I'm feeling pretty confident that by the time Halloween rolls around, we're going to be looking good, especially with all the other applications we're going to be doing to it. And the LCN lawn's looking pretty good too. In fact, we'll have to look at that in a little bit. What are you sipping on, Jonathan? I'm just having a little coffee. I like to throw in a little caffeine here and there to keep me awake because school can be tiring sometimes, so got to have something to keep you hustling. Pour some gas on that fire. Yeah, man. No. What does Silverback do for a living? He's a corporate account manager for a pest control company. I'm sure you guys know it very well. I'm not going to address it very well. Josh Smith, let me tell you something, brother. I understand, but scientifically, teenagers need more sleep than adults. So you guys have a little. You guys don't get so tired that easily. I mean, you probably do, but you guys don't need as much sleep as we do. I know it's coming, right? We teenagers, we're wussies, right? All we want to do is sleep. Well, come on, dude. I'm persevering through it. Unlike all my other classmates who complain all the time. Preach. If I eat too much food, coma. I did 84 per week for 2 years in Afghanistan. Jesus. Definitely not green punch, skull punch. Yeah. So what's in the coffee? Nothing, man. Just straight black, the way I like it. See, I'm a firm believer in the fact that you really don't need much for your coffee. In fact, I'm a minimalist when it comes to this kind of stuff. When people are like, I want a, double chocolate chip mocha with some sprinkles and whatnot in there, I just look at them and I go, dude, you get a black coffee and you go to work. All right? It's not like that coffee is going to do much for you anyway. So save your money and get black. Do you recommend taking stim shots of the pack if you're out of liquor? That is not something I could clarify. I'll have to get the silver back out here for that. See, I like my coffee like I like my woman. American and top grade. It's from a movie. It's from this movie called Identity Thief. That's a good one. John Bonilla, just one. I'm sorry, Al. I understand what you're saying, probably good, but I'm a simple man, black all the way. I hate sleeping. Aiden, me too, man. You know what? I hate it, but I also hate the fact that when I don't get it, I can't start early in the morning. If I could stay up all night and just go back to work in the morning, I would. But I've tried that a few times. Never ends well. Okay, Josh Smith, that's a little much. Aiden, thank you. This is a family friendly show, man. This ain't laughing matter. Okay, we gotta keep it PG around here. I mean, we could have a little fun here and there, but just keep it up. What's up with LCN? Do you miss him? He just left us. Scott, I mean, I miss him here and there, but to be honest, it's awesome that he lives somewhere else, and I don't get to see him. I don't get to see him more than like more than like 4 times a year because it just makes me miss him even more. Makes me appreciate his presence. Whereas when he lived next door, it was like, oh, he's just my neighbor. But yeah, he's in Utah. What are your weekend plans? Well, Jake, we got quite a list. Tons of videos to shoot this weekend. I got first video going out tomorrow. Going to be part 2 of the. It's going to be part 2 of the fall lawn seeding basics. We're going to talk about the materials that you need to make it happen. And then on top of that, we also have 2 more videos coming out next week. The first one on Monday is going to be documenting the LCN lawn revival, the seeding and the fertilizer, and my lawn over here is going to be documenting the next seed starter pack along with my seeding. So stay tuned for that coming up. Gonna do another project lawn with Alan? Maybe. In fact, maybe we gotta try and do a southern lawn together. I think that would be a learning experience for me. Come on down. It's a little quiet. Oh man, you know what? That's a good idea. Barbecue for the bonfire because I actually have a. Let me show this to you. I got it right here. So you guys are gonna love this. I've had this fire pit for 2 years, and it came with this grill top. I haven't used this thing once, and I gotta say, this is pretty awesome. In fact, one night on Lawnfires, what I would like to do is maybe get like a nice little gentle fire going, and then on top of that, maybe grill a nice steak. Oh, that'd be so good. We'll have to do that one night. That'd be so awesome. How did you make out with your uncle's lawn last weekend? Came out pretty good. More video to come later. Stay tuned. Have you used Simple Lawn Solutions? And if so, what do you think about their products? Alcoholic? I'm going to be honest with you. I really haven't messed with them. And it's not that I don't care for them, but it's just because of the fact that I've been using Greene County products for so long. I love them so much. I really don't see anything better. But I'll have to try them at some point. Maybe I'll try them on my test plot in the back once we start getting a little rain there. But, oh yeah, that'd be awesome, John. Porterhouse steaks, oh, that'd be nice. Those things would grill in like 2 minutes. I'm doing both Carbon X and liquid fertilizer since it just became available in Cali. Yeah, man, I'll take advantage of that. It's only gonna help. Dude, you know what I should do? I should get some hot dogs on here. I mean, I got some inside. That'd be so good. Oh, man. I'm starting to salivate thinking about that. I saw Ryan's new liquid boxes. He's trying to up his game. Yeah, man, I admire that actually. I like to do something similar with Next maybe, but not for a while. Because to be honest, I'm not so worried about getting my logo smacked on something yet. I'm more so focused on getting an outlet of distribution for all this stuff ready. Hey, Dad, we got any hot dogs?
No.
No? All right.
What's this for?
I don't know. Mark brought that over.
Oh, he was over here?
Yeah, look. I got this.
You can't do that.
Could you imagine how fast the steak would cook on this?
Yeah, but the wood has to be below.
I know
the
it
top.
does. How long do you think it would take to cook a steak on here?
Oh, it'd be burnt.
It'd take like 3 seconds. Do my southern lawn as a project and we'll smoke the whole hog. That's funny. Adam Addy, dithiopyr versus prodiamine. So, for those of you guys who don't know what these two are, dithiopyr and prodiamine, they're both pre-emergents that we typically recommend in the season. Now, prodiamine, so just to sum it up real quick and then I'll explain it, prodiamine is better for early season control, whereas dithiopyr is better for late season control. So the reason I say that is because prodiamine actually has a better sticker. It has a better sticking agent in it that'll help form a great barrier in the lawn, which will help hold it in place if we do get a heavy rain. Whereas the dithiopyr, it doesn't have that strength, but I'm not so worried about that because once we get later into the season, that's not so much a priority as we don't get much rain. But based on what I've seen with dithiopyr, it does better with late season control for crabgrass. So really to sum it up, prodiamine early season, dithiopyr late season. And what's nice about both of them is I recommend using them in tandem with each other, like you do prodiamine in the spring, and then you do dithiopyr in the late spring, and then another application on dithiopyr in the fall if you're not aerating and overseeding. But what was I going to say? Yeah, to sum it up, prodiamine early season, dithiopyr late season. Jake, help your dad take the groceries in. Dude, I got sisters that could pitch in every now and then. I help all the time. What seed have you been overseeding with? Seems in the last video we've gotten a sneak peek at perhaps some GCI KBG blend. So we got two different types. I got GCI Turf Dictyl Fescue blend, and I got a KBG Rye Fescue blend that's going to be for my lawn. Now the GCI seed's going to go on Alan's lawn because that lawn's originally tall fescue. Actually went over there already, and then my lawn is the KBG mix. You'll hear more about that coming out later. Hey Jake, did you post the second part of your seating video? Jeff, no, I didn't. In fact, I talked about this earlier. I got so delayed with it because of how busy I was this week with school, and because of that, I just never got to editing the video like I wanted to. So, bear with me though. I'm working on that. I'm gonna try and get the video out sometime later tomorrow, as I do have all the footage shot. I just have a couple more things I got to do, and then get it edited, and then it'll pretty much be done. But other than that, we're good. So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, that second part will be coming out sometime tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Have you ever used Tenacity for spot spraying or for pre-post emergence? Scott below, I haven't, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. So perfect, perfect if you want to prevent or control crabgrass post-emergently in conjunction to your aeration and overseeding, as well as a bunch of other nuisance weeds that we deal with. Could be old news, but I read the other day they have ryegrass seed that spreads and repairs like KBG. Heard of this yet? The mayor, no, I haven't, so I can't speak on it. It is good stuff used in conjunction with my overseeding. Yeah, John Wills, I've heard a lot of that. I used Tenacity on my overseed a month ago. Worked well. Seems like the brand name is sold out almost everywhere. You have to go to the generic Metsotrino. Yeah, it's popular stuff. I aerated and overseeded with a 40-pound bag of Scott Smart Seed and 45 bag pound of Lesco mix. Do you foresee any problems? Shit's starting to grow in nice. Um, Alcoholic. That's actually a pretty good name. Um, I think the only concern would be is if you had any weed seeds present in the seed. That would be the only concern, but I wouldn't worry about that too much because you've already seeded at this point, and if there are any problems that present themselves later on, of course you can always control them. You can always control them with herbicides, weed controls, and if you even have to go extreme, you can always hit the hard control weeds with glyphosate and then just reseed those areas at some point in the year and just water them. And there goes Silverback off to the gym. Jake, I was thinking of applying Dithiapir a month or so after seeding. Is there any benefit to this? Will it be too late to stop winter weeds? Well, Jeff, to be honest with you, I wouldn't risk it because I don't recommend doing one if you're going to do the other. So just stick with your overseeding, you'll be fine, and then get your pre-emergent down. And then if there are any weeds that come up in the spring, control them post-emergently, and then the Poa annua, just ride it out. And then once you get to the fall, next year and you have a thicker stand of turf, then that's where you could start thinking about maybe not aerating and overseeding, and then getting down your application of dithiopyr. Now, there probably is a way that you can do that, but to be honest with you guys, I'm not 100% sure on all that because I don't know the numbers on the bag itself off the top of my head. So don't take my word for it. Definitely read the label on the product you're using, as label is law and it will answer a lot of your questions. I was thinking of oh yeah, it took about 1 gallon to cover my 2,500 square feet. Hmm. They must recommend a high rate. Jesus. Tenacity is like 1 tablespoon per thousand. Yeah, that's why I was a little shocked. Going to overseed and aerate tomorrow. Awesome, Kyle. Let me know how it goes. Someone laying down number 11 in the neighborhood. Mixed with water, guys. Come on. That's funny. I started to realize that. Yeah, now it makes more sense. I agree with you. Let me finish this coffee. Done. Okay. Ultima Lawn Services. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. At this point, I'm just chilling. You guys got any questions? Leave them in the chat. I'm here to answer them. Speed walking there, yeah. Well, I think maybe one thing to take into factor with that would be like the dilution rates. Like 7 to 1, 11 to 1. We'll get into that in the future. Got some silverback weeds out there now. You may think I can have them pay to bill. Jacob, that's pretty funny, man. I like that. That's great. Alcoholic, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm starting to simmer down a little bit. Anything else? The coffee is wearing off, yeah. I'm pretty tired. Now, Steve, let's not get too political here. We're not supposed to do that. Jake, are you a senior in high school? Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a senior. I can't wait to get out of there. Do you ever plan on putting out some of your own programs for people to purchase similar to what Pete and Alan do? Yeah, at some point. Just not right now. I'm still in the process of testing out products, see how they work, and then eventually we can start putting together some programs. But that'll be in the future. So not soon though, but we'll eventually get there. Great job as always, Steve. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Francisco Lopez, still tuned in watching your live chat, watering my lawn. Sucks that I have to move my sprinkler to every zone manually, but gotta do what you gotta do. Francisco Lopez, yeah, that's true, but I do have an option for you. The JTLK style irrigation system. Aiden, if you're still with me, can you link to that, brother? The video I did on the JTLK irrigation system, the initial one. Appreciate it, brother. How many lawns do you have now? I have 12, Ultima. Yeah, sorry guys. It's not you guys. I'm not irritated. I'm starting to simmer down. I'm getting pretty tired. Can you spray tenacity over seedlings for second application after seeding? Thomas Strayas, don't know off the top of my head. Read the label. Label's law will answer a lot of your questions. That you applied on Alan's lawn? No, I didn't make a review on it, but I can tell you really good results afterwards. Great tenacity. Ooh, this fire's nice. Ugh. Thomas, it's not recommended on overseedings. Jacob, thank you. How long are we going with this show? Aiden, we'll get off in a couple of minutes. Alright. Only on germinated seed after 2 to 3 hours. Alright guys, well I think this is going to be a great place to end it. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed it, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for the next video coming out sometime tomorrow where we're going to talk about part 2 of fall lawn seeding basics, which are going to be the materials that you're going to need. So make sure you tune in for that. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I'm Jake the Lawn Kid. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. If I don't see you guys next time, you're going to be dominated. See you later. Good night.